We're back at it again, guys. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about today is what my addiction really felt like as I was going through it. And this is gonna be an unfiltered conversation. I'll just jump right to it. When I was at the age of I want to say 12, 13, I got introduced to marijuana, which nowadays is not a big deal, but back then it was like the biggest deal to my family, because my family does not believe in smoking weed. They truly believe that's like the worst thing you can do, but they drink and all that. So to my family, I was like the worst thing I can do. So I started smoking at a very young age. I got very paranoid that one time I went to a family gathering and I was smoking wax. So it was a journey of a couple of years that led up to that moment, and I truly panicked. I legit, I was hearing stuff. I was having the worst time of my life, and at the time I was like about 14, and I decided to quit. This is before Christ. This is before anything. I truly had a whole panic attack, and it ruined my whole evening. And I just decided to refrain from drugs, and I tried to live a clean life. And I want to say, when I turned, I don't know, 18, I decided to start smoking again, and I had a lot of boundaries when it came to smoking weed. I was very leery about what I was ingesting or what I was smoking at the time, and it slowly led to me, like, saying yes to certain things. And I got to the point where I was smoking weed, but then my mom was finding out, and I was only smoking like a little bit. I wasn't smoking a lot. And if you guys hear like animals in the background, it's because I'm like legit in the middle of nowhere. But I started to look around for all the ways to get high, and that didn't smell. But I was not gonna try dabbling in other drugs. I was just gonna stay with weed. So that's where wax was reintroduced to my life. But then it was in the form of like a little pen, or like a little like cigarette that you just add actual wax. So it had coils in it, and you just add the wax and it heats up, and it was like a you could just carry with you, and it didn't really smell. So I started doing that, and I started getting heavily addicted to it. And people say you can't get addicted to weed, but there I was fiending for it. And like, to people that don't understand what fiending is, I was constantly like looking for that high. I was, say, if I forgot my cigarette or my pen, as we call it, like I would ask all of my buddies who were working with me at the time for their pen. And it was not this like, oh yeah, bro, do you have your pen? It was more like, hey bro, do you have your pen with you? Like, do you mind if I hit it? Like, let me go to the restroom and smoke it. Like, oh, let me borrow it, bro. Like tomorrow I'll bring my own. Like, and it was a constant like really like wanting to get high. And I saw myself getting to a point where it was fun. It was cool. I felt amazing. I felt great. My work ethic was getting great. I was about to become a manager where I was working at. But then I ruined it for myself, and that's not regarding weed. It was just me doing stupid things like stealing from my work, and this is before Christ. And like it started really leading to everything was working out great. Like I was moving up in the workforce. I was thinking better. It's just I didn't have any of the panic attacks. It was really awesome. And it was not until I had like this moment as I'm smoking weed, and it got to like I was smoking every few hours, every 2 or 3 hours, hitting my pen again, and being all day being just blasted high. And it got to a point where I remember at work, and I was like kind of just frozen, and not super frozen, but I was just there, and everybody was like, Daniel, you okay? Like, and everybody's almost done cleaning up and putting stuff away, and I'm barely halfway there, and I'm like, oh yeah, and people had to help me, and they were asking me, hey, you okay? Your eyes don't look good. And that was like one of the times I kind of noticed it was getting out of hand. And later on, I remember this one time me and my brother were hotboxing his vehicle. If you guys don't know what hotboxing is, basically you just close the doors of the vehicle, you don't let the AC run or nothing, and you just let a bunch of smoke of the whatever you're smoking, weed or wax or whatever, to really fill up the room, so you're constantly getting an inhale of that substance that gets you high. So we did that, and minutes before that, my brother introduced me to edibles, and he was like, oh, this also gets you high, but you don't have to smoke weed, but it just takes a little longer for it to kick in. So I ate this gummy. I waited an hour. It wasn't hitting, so meaning it wasn't getting me his vehicle. We started smoking. I brought my stuff. We started mixing the marijuana flowers, and then we started throwing wax. So if you don't know what wax is, it's basically when you compress the marijuana and all this sticky substance. It's basically like the thing that gets you high, the pureness of it, like the actual substance that gets you kind of like really messed up. So it's just smoking the purest, I guess. It was like, I think 80% or like 90%, somewhere around there, THC or however terms they call it. But anyways, we got blasted. I hit my limit, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm done. And as I said I'm done, the edibles kicked in, so that kind of piled on top of the high that I was already feeling. And I was holding in my pipe and a lighter, and as that hit, I felt my body just fold. And I don't know if you ever seen like the people, like drug addicts that are like on the middle of the road, on the side of the road, how they're like stumbling, and they're like all bent over, and they can't really stand straight, and they're just high out of their mind. That's how I was at that moment in that vehicle. I was just slumped over, just high out of my mind, just just blasted. And my brother was laughing. And that moment, it felt like my soul, almost in a way, went out of my body. And I was looking at myself, and I'm like, dang, I'm really taking this way too far. Because I told myself I don't want to be like the homeless on the side of the road. And there I was, acting the same out. And I walked into, I don't know how, somehow I made it to my room. I stared at my TV for an hour and 30 minutes. I just turned it on. I was so high, I was just staring at it. And I would just wake up because I would black out of how high I was. And that was a routine that I had every night. Like, I'll get off of work, get blasted, get super high, to a point where like I would just wake up. Like, I don't even remember actually getting my pillow, putting my covers, and falling asleep. I would just take a shower and wake up, basically, because of how high I was. And that was a journey that I took, and it was like I was like that for months, man. And the moment I decided to quit that lifestyle, because one of my life mottos that I used to live by, I used to say, I'm free to do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. Nobody can tell me what to do. And the moment I decided to quit smoking is the moment I find out that I was not free to do whatever I want. I was chained up to this drug addiction. And I fought for it for a few months until I was introduced to God. I went to if you guys want to hear my full testimony, the link in the description will be the top. It's like an hour-long video. But it basically it's like the whole story of what happened. But long story short, I went on this journey to Clovis. I encountered the Lord, and it truly changed my life. And I got to find out who God is for myself. And I came back, and He called me by my name. And the addiction broke off within like overnight, cold turkey. And all I can say is God freed me. God broke my chains, because I truly cried out to Him that night that I went to Clovis. I truly cried out. And you don't have to go to a church to cry out to God. You can cry out to God in your own home. But I really recommend going to a spirit-filled church to really cry out for God, because one spiritual concept that my pastor really teaches is there's a pathway to the Holy of Holies, or the courtrooms of heaven. And when people gather and they make that pathway to encounter the Lord, and not just on a Sunday but on a Wednesday, and just spirit-filled and have that genuine connection, it'll be easier for you to encounter the Lord. It'll be easier for you to get one-on-one with Him. So I really recommend crying out to the Lord, and that's what I did. And I called out to the Lord. He saved me. He rescued me. He broke the chains off my life, and I've been free of addiction for now about 6 years now, and it's all glory to God. So I thank Him for everything, and I was truly set free in that moment to say no to sin, to say no to drug addiction. And that's basically my whole experience with drugs. And yeah, man, my family didn't find out until like I quit. They're like, oh, you're quitting? I was like, yeah. And man, I kept it hidden. Nobody really knew that I was struggling. That's one of the beauties that in my mind that I had back then, of like smoking wax and nobody knows. But then, because you don't smell, and you don't smell like a skunk, but you're still getting high out of your mind. So that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed these raw videos like this, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. But that's it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a big fat thumbs up. It would be appreciated. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. Drop a comment down below of what you want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and God bless.
I don't really wanna boast, but I'm singing songs with the heavenly host. Trying to bring me low, but I got a soul that's been dipped in gold, dipped in gold.